Hey friend, welcome to On the Daily. I'm your host, Danielle McCleary, and I am a quantum business coach. I'm the host of this podcast. I'm a multi-six-figure entrepreneur, co-founder and president of Hype You Media, and CEO of Danielle on the Daily Coaching. What I'm really interested in is helping you live a life and have a business that is a full body yes. So through all of my education and all of my experience, I'm bringing you 2 episodes a week where I will guide you and give you the tools necessary to scale a massive, sustainable, and sexy business using your intuition, wealth energetics, and human design. What we can call it is business biohacking. So if you're down for that, then I say let's frickin' go. I'm so glad you're here. Hello, On the Daily family. Happy Friday. Welcome back to our show. I only have a few more days until we begin from zero to launch. And that means doors are closing soon. This isn't one of those programs that you can join at any time. We are really going to close the doors. It's actually going to happen. And they're not going to open again for a while, because the way that my business is running now is we're going to cycle through all 3 of my signature programs. So once the door closes on zero to launch, it's closed for a while and you won't be able to get in. And I don't want you to miss it. If you've been like dancing around it, here's your sign. Remember how what is that movie where they're like, I need a sign. And then the person's like, here's your sign. This is your sign. It's now or not for a while. And if you've been starting a business, Zero to Launch is my 3-month, it's my brand new signature program. It's a 3-month business launching blueprint. I've never done a course like this before. I partnered with a new course platform called Thinkific, and I am creating modules and phases, and there's homework and there's resources, and we're going to have some guest teachers in there, as well as live Q&As and all the things. Just so much support, just so much information. And it is something that kind of scared the crap out of me to do, because I've always just been one to show up and teach my courses and then move on. But I really wanted this one to have staying power, and I wanted it to live. And so we have literally created this program from the ground up, and it's so amazing. And I just know that if you are launching a business this year, if you think you're launching a business this year, if you've maybe already launched a business, but you haven't scaled your business, or if you have launched your business and it did do well for a while and you've hit a plateau, sometimes a fresh perspective is really all you need. And, if you are brand new to entrepreneurship, consider this the program. And I think the reason why it is as powerful as it is because it is not just the strategy of starting a business. While yes, that's absolutely included. I talk about email lists. I talk about growing an email list. I talk about sales funnels. I talk about automation. I talk about networking. I talk about content creation. I talk about quite literally how to create a business plan for yourself. We're going to talk taxes. We're going to talk LLC versus S Corp. We're going to talk write-offs. We're going to talk about all the strategy that's involved with starting and scaling and launching a business. We are also going to be talking about the energetics and the mindset work and the emotional intelligence work that must be done to become an entrepreneur. And I definitely know a thing or two about this. I've built 3 businesses. I've scaled them all. I'm working on a 4th right now. And if there is anything I've learned, it's how to successfully launch a business. And so that is what I've put into this course. I've literally taken the last over a decade of me building my brand online. I've taken everything that's worked and I've put it into this course, and I've left out everything that doesn't. So yes, could you do this? Could you start a business? Could you scale a business? Could you launch a business without this course? Absolutely. Of course you could. I did. And it took a lot longer than it needed to. And so I just think if you could have, you probably would. And there's probably something that's stopping you. Maybe you think that you don't have the knowledge or the skill, or nobody will listen to you. Or maybe you think you're not going to have enough money to launch a business. Maybe you don't think you're smart enough. Maybe who knows? Maybe you think it's everyone else's fault that you can't launch a business. I have no idea. What I can say is we're going to address all of these things, and you are smart enough and you are worthy enough and you do add as much value as you think you do. you probably just need a little bit of direction. You probably just need somebody to like stand there with their hands on your shoulders and be like, go this way. And then you'll fly. And that's what I'm going to do in this program. So if you have been dancing around it, you gotta jump in, because the content's going to start being released on Monday, May 1st. And next Friday, which is May 5th, the doors will be closing. So it's only open for another week. So you're going to have to get in soon. And that's at that current price of $677. If you come in after we start on Monday, the price will be $777. So last chance to save money, last chance to get in, all the things. And I really hope you can join us. If you do want to join us, you can click the link in our show notes. You can also come find me on Instagram. I'm Danielle _ on the daily. But if you knew this show, you knew that. You already knew that. So I hope to see you in there. We are very excited. Building a business around your life context. What does that even mean? I've talked about this a lot, and maybe you think you have a good grasp on it. And if you do, awesome. If you hear me say that a lot and you're like, I don't even know what that means, that's what I want to talk about in this episode, because quite literally right now, especially if you're watching this episode on YouTube, you'll see that I am not in my house. I'm not in my new gorgeous big ass house in Texas. I am in a really cool 70s inspired hotel in Palm Springs called the Ace Hotel. And I am recording this podcast. And this weekend, right before I launch the biggest program I've ever launched, I am in the desert at Stagecoach Country Music Festival, which is where they host Coachella every year. And it's this giant country music festival in the desert. We go every single year. And that's what I'm doing this weekend. And I'm not really thinking about this launch. I mean, I am thinking about the launch, but I'm not sitting on the internet, like waiting for people to sign up. I'm not like hovering over my Instagram, like hoping that people are going to, come and ask me questions. Like that's just not what's happening. And I used to be like that. In other businesses that I was not building around my life context, I was absolutely doing that. And I would just obsess over, was I making sales? Were my clients happy? Were people happy? Was everybody, getting what they need? The people who work with me, are they getting what they need? And I was just available all the time. And it didn't feel good. And so when I built this brand, this coaching business, and this podcast, I decided that I was going to build a business 100% around my life context, and that was going to be no exceptions. There were going to be zero exceptions to that rule. And so far, I've been doing a pretty good job. Now, sometimes, of course, sometimes you do things you don't want to do, and you learn a lesson from it. And so would I say that I've been perfect at it the whole time? Pretty darn near perfect. And I think the times that I've allowed myself to do something that maybe I didn't think that I would do, it ended up being a really good thing anyway. So what is it even to build a business around your life context? Well, the same as I am recording this podcast in the desert and I'm doing the things that I really love to do, regardless of the fact that I have a launch, that explains it pretty well. My business my business is not the most important thing in my life. I am not my business. I am Danielle, and I have a beautiful wife, and we have an incredible life together, and we're spending a week in the desert, kind of on like a light honeymoon. We're taking a giant honeymoon at the end of the year. We're going to do like 4 to 6 weeks in like Bali, the Maldives, Egypt, Kokomo. We're going to go do it. We're going to just do the big thing. But for now, that's what we're doing. And my business is built around my life context. My life context is doing things that bring me joy, spending time with the people I love, being with my family, getting massages, eating healthy, eating an ice cream sandwich if I feel like it in the middle of Whole Foods, which I did today. It's working out in the morning before I do a single work call. It's making my schedule something that feels good for me so that I can be the best coach that I can be, so that I can be the best wife that I can be, so that I can be the best mom that I can be. Building a business around my life context really came from me sitting down and having an honest conversation with myself. What does your perfect life look like? And my perfect life it's freedom. That's ultimately what my perfect life is never having to say no because of money, never having to say no because of time, never having to say no because of anyone else. It's being able to do exactly what I want, when I want, how I want, with whoever I want, and wherever I want. And while that's happening, I'm going to build a multi-million dollar brand. And it's funny because I've talked to people about this, and I've had conversations with people, and I've told them that's what I'm doing, primarily people in my family. I'll be like, yeah, I'm building a multi-million dollar brand from the internet. And it's, I'm not hustling into the ground. I'm not exhausted every day. I don't stress that much about work. Like, yeah, of course, there's sometimes when I stress. Launching this brand new program in a way that I've never done it. Yes, a little stressful. That's why I have a coach. That's why I pay for a mentor. I invest in mentors because when I'm feeling that, I know where to go and I know how to get the support that I need. And I'm at a point in my business now where I don't dwell on things. Like if I'm feeling stress or anxiety over something, I know how to move it through my body very quickly and I can get over it very quickly. And that's something that I've chosen. That's part of my life context. I choose every single day. Like I'm not going to get hung up on things. And so when I do feel stress or anxiety in my business, or I start to feel blocks because I've hit a new level of money, this happened when we moved into our house and I've invested in all this stuff to like make our house beautiful. I did feel a little bit of tightness in my body over the amount of money that was going out. We're talking over $100,000 in a very short amount of time. And that was scary for me. And I'd never done it. I'd never done that before. And so I went to my mentor and I was like, here's what's happening in my body right now. And we talked through it and I was able to switch out with different energy very quickly. And that's part of my life context. I've chosen to live a life where I'm not dwelling on things. I'm not obsessing over what's happening in the news. I'm not obsessing over what he did or she did or how they think or what they think or anything. And that is a choice. And so the reason, and this is part of the reason why I built From Zero to Launch, was because I want everyone to feel like that. I think that there's a saying where people say like, oh, there's never been a better time to start a business. And it's never going to feel like the right time to start a business. But like actually, because even though I don't like actively pay attention what's happening in the news, I know what's happening in the news. I know what's happening with our central banking system. I know what's happening in our world right now. I know what's happening with all of our political leaders, that none of them can seem to do anything remotely good for people. I know about all that. And so when I say that like I've built a brand around my life context, I don't sit around stressing about that kind of stuff because I make my money. I do my thing. I have a business. I've built it in a way that allows me to live the life that I want to live. And I want that for everyone. I want that for you. I want you to be able to wake up every day and be like, wow, I really love my life. I really love what I do. I was driving, we were flying to California and like driving to the desert. And I just remember being like, it's Wednesday. And we are just driving through the desert and, Breezy's doing a little bit of work on her phone in the passenger seat. And then I'm recording a podcast in a hotel and then we're going to probably go to sleep because we're old women. But this isn't normal. Like, this is not how most people live. Like, we were talking that Breezy's brother and sister-in-law might come out and meet us at the concert for one of the days. And I was like, is he going to be able to do that though? Because he has to get back for work on Monday. I'm like, I don't think like that. I don't have to think like that. And it wasn't always that way though. I made a choice to have it be that way. And you have the power to make that choice. It won't feel easy in the beginning. And there's going to be a lot of people that don't agree with you. There's going to be a lot of people that think that you're nuts. There're going to be a lot of people that tell you that, you're selfish or that all you care about is yourself. And you know what? It's your choice whether to believe that or not. And if you believe that, then it's true. And if you don't believe that, then it's not true. And I've never believed that, I've never believed that I only care about myself. I care about people very, very, very deeply. And actually, me taking care of myself and building what I want to build for my family is actually the best thing that I can do for other people, because then I don't resent people. I don't hate on people. I don't wish that people were a way that they're not. I don't try to change people. I actually, the more polarizing I become in my own life and like literally just staying in my lane and doing the things that I need to do, the more inclusive I become of everyone and their beliefs and the way they think and the way that they speak and the way that they do things. And like, I truly do not care what anybody else believes, thinks, anything, because I've built a brand and a life around my context, around the way that I want to live and the things that are important to me. And that's why I don't take calls every day. That's why I switched around my private mentorship containers, and it's no longer scheduled calls every single week. I empowered my clients by doing calls as needed. And when they need me, they book a call and we have a great call and it's amazing. But I'm not just like scheduling time anymore, because that was feeling draining in my body. And I realized I can be more of service if I switch it up a little bit, and that ultimately empowers my clients more. And like, I'm just giving you these examples because I think there's so many people that are like, oh, that would be nice. But I don't know, maybe you just think that like people who live like this are lying. Maybe you think that it's, something for them, but not for you. But trust me, like this is coming from a girl who literally in August 2018 was sobbing outside of my 1,300 square foot apartment or condo or duplex or whatever it was that we lived in, sobbing outside because a boot had got put in. Cool, Danielle. See, I can't even speak. I don't even know grammar. Had been put on my car because I parked illegally, and it had happened too many times. And I literally got a boot on my car, and I'm sobbing outside of my house, calling my dad as a 30 whatever year old woman, like begging for money because I was so far in the hole and I was so out of, like, I just was terrible with money, and I didn't feel worthy of it. And I just would constantly find myself, I would make money, I'd feel really good for a while, I'd spend it all, and I'd be back at the bottom. And it was such a vicious, ugly cycle that I was caught in. I begged my dad for money, and he gave me like $400 to bail me out of having this fucking boot on my car. And that was it. That was my rock bottom. At that moment, I looked Breezy in the eye and I was like, I will not live like this anymore. And that is when I dove into entrepreneurship. It was only like a couple months later that I literally dove headfirst into entrepreneurship. And it's been a ride ever since. And there's been things that have worked, and there's been things that haven't. And there's been things that I have noticed that I perpetuated old trauma and old beliefs and old ways of working. And I perpetuated that by continuing the behavior in the new businesses that I start. But this brand, this coaching brand, this podcast, this new media company that I'm starting, it's built around my life context. And I don't have space or capacity for anything that's not mutually beneficial. And because I've done that and I've protected my peace, I make a shit ton of money doing that. And I don't say no because of money anymore. And I don't say no because of time. And I don't worry about what other people are doing. And it doesn't have an effect on my life. And I'm telling you this because you can have it too. You just have to make the choice. And that's why I made a course from zero to launch, because it's literally the blueprint to get you on your way. And this 2018 was not that long ago. Right? This coaching business, I started less than 2 years ago. Less than 2 years ago, I started this business, and it's already an almost 7-figure brand. You can do that. You just have to make the choice. It's a choice. Choice. And the minute you realize that you are always in choice, you can choose to wake up a completely different person. You can choose to live on a different frequency. You can choose to align yourself with different core values, different beliefs, different ideas and beliefs about yourself. You can choose that every single day. And if you don't, that's up to you too. That's also a choice. But what I'm saying is, if you've been feeling like you are ready for that change, and if you know that feeling where you're feeling so hopeless because you just find yourself in the same pattern over and over and over and over and over and over again. And you're like, something's got to give. It might be time to start your own business. It might be time to just do the thing, whatever it is, even if it's not start your own business, even if you do really like working for other people, whatever it is. If you know that feeling that I'm talking about, I'm telling you, you could wake up tomorrow and you could decide that that is no longer your reality, that that version of yourself is no longer getting to drive the car, that you do not identify or align with that version of yourself. You could literally decide that tomorrow. And then you're going to come and you're going to find me and you're going to get into Zero to Launch because I'm going to help you. I am going to help you get there. I'm going to give you every tool that I have, every piece of knowledge that I have, every nugget that I've learned over the years. I've put it into this course. Okay, I think that's all for now. Build a business, build a life around the context you want. What is your life context? Build something around that. I will be back on Tuesday with another episode. I love you so much. And if you're on Instagram, come find me because my Stagecoach content is usually pretty epic. So if you want to be entertained this weekend, come find me on Instagram. Love you. Bye.